Perfect. Jake, to start with, take us into the dressing room after that game. What's the sort of overriding feeling after a win like that?
Yeah, we're obviously pretty happy with the result. But yeah, focusing on ourselves again this week. There's still a few things we probably could sharpen up on. We had a fair few opportunities. In that second half, there was a turnover, and in these test matches, those little moments are really important. So yeah, we are thrilled, but there's definitely still a lot to work on.
As Joe Schmidt is known for his video review sessions after a game, sort of what's come out after that? That's just sort of going to be the key focus into this week about just sort of sharpening those areas up.
Yeah, we've only done our units meeting so far this morning. We've done sort of small group work, but I guess the overarcher is sort of the attention to detail around sort of the fundamentals of the game, skill set, breakdown, clean out quality has been really ramped home.
Just for yourself, packed crowd being sort of your home state, getting back in that sort of Wallabies number 9 jersey, how sort of special is that to sort of reflect on all the work you put in to get back to this moment and really sort of produce a starring performance like you did?
Oh, it was special. I think it's been a challenging 12 months for myself, and obviously haven't had too many wins this year, so it was a great feeling. But I was also happy for everyone in the group. We had, I think it was 7 debutants, and individually for myself to be able to play and start a game like that at home is pretty special.
Hey Jake, you pleased you didn't end up getting that release and heading overseas?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's that's sort of happened now. But look, I think when you get opportunities like this, and we've got a really exciting 12 months ahead of us, it feels pretty good. So.
It seemed like there was a real emphasis with the box kicking, not playing a huge amount of rugby in your 22. Is that a specific tactic? It seemed like something that you did really well and was effective with. Is that different to past Wallaby regimes that you've worked under?
Look, I think the conditions probably suited it a little bit more. It was actually quite a lot wetter than we expected. I know there's a little bit of showering that afternoon, but it was quite sort of messy, and there was a lot of movement underfoot. So I guess we had a game plan of probably playing at the right ends of the field a little bit more. And Test match rugby's quite a little bit different to Super Rugby, where possession and playing at the right ends of the field become really important. So I wouldn't say a massive focus on it. It just ended up sort of falling into that with the wetter ball.
What's the Joe, obviously you've had three coaches in 5 years at the Wallabies, or 4 coaches now. What have you noticed from the Joe Schmidt coach environment? He's taking on the responsibilities of the attack coach as well. So what is it in particular that you found in the preparation of 2 weeks leading into it that you guys could eke out a win, even though it probably wasn't the prettiest, but you got a win?
Yeah, I think there's similarities between quite a few coaches. I guess only spending a short amount of time with Joe is his attention to detail, like we spoke on a little bit earlier, around the clean out quality, your skill set, the real fundamentals of the game. He just doesn't let off the hook. Even if you're walking through it or doing it at jogging pace, you do it properly. He doesn't really accept any sort of laziness.
Just to bring Isaac into it, that feeling of running out for your debut, so how do you quantify those emotions and sort of being able to sit here and say you're sort of a Wallaby? What does that mean to you?
It was pretty special. I was a bit worried early on. I think slips went down in the first 20 minutes, and we were warming up, and they called me over, and I was like, kept looking at the clock, and I don't know if I got 60 in me, but slips is tough, so we pulled through past the half, but getting on, it was kind of felt like just another game. It was quite quick, a lot quicker than what I'm used to at Super Rugby level, and then just after the game, I was sort of soaking it all up. Didn't really want to leave the field. I was quite happy signing all the autographs I needed to, photos. It was quite surreal.
Joe, on sort of naming the team on Thursday, Joe talked about those combinations with the debutants, having an experienced person to guide them through. How did that sort of help having someone like Alan, who's, a Wallabies captain in his own right, one of the sort of best tight heads out there, to really sort of see you through those opening scrums and just get yourself comfortable to test match footy?
Yeah, well, something that we sort of worked on through the week. Slips mentioned it. Like all the boys have got our back in terms of the debutants. So it was quite easy coming into the game. They came up to me and they said, just play your game. You don't have to do anything too special. Just do your role. Having someone like Alan there who's quite calming. It was real good.
Almost feels like Saturday could be sort of the perfect stars aligning with birthday, return to Melbourne. It's a really sort of special week. This could be right now. Like, how do you sort of keep that sort of the energy high, and just what would it mean to sort of play in front of a home crowd on your birthday at Amy Park?
It would be special, regardless if I'm playing or not, just to be sort of in the camp around the boys. It's dream come true, really. So whether I'm playing or not, I'll be supporting either way. But it'd be quite good if I could get on the home ground.
And just finally from me, that sort of defensive impact coming off the bench, was that something that you sort of spoke about a lot with sort of Jeff, Mike and sort of Joe about really coming on and trying to sort of make an impact, win those sort of collisions and just allow sort of the Wallabies to sort of just close out that game in that fashion?
Something I kind of been working on throughout the year, and I've spoken to Laurie, throughout the week about putting myself in the right positions so I can make an impact, especially on defence. I was quite lucky. They just decided to run at me. I didn't really have to do too much work. So, I was quite happy with that.
Isaac, I was reading the other day, you only started scrummaging in the front row about 4 or 5 years ago. A bit like Jake, you're pleased that you managed to make that move to the front row?
Initially I wasn't too happy. The first couple of years were actually quite bit thrown in the deep end. There were definitely some tough sessions where I kind of wish I wasn't there, but I'm glad it all worked out. I still got a long way to go, but I'm sort of glad I stuck it out.
Someone like Mike Cron, I know that Nick Stiles, you would have probably worked pretty closely with the Rebels in recent years, but Mike Cron is like the guru of scrummaging. What's it like been working under him?
Just his sort of attention to detail and really nailing down the fundamentals sort of every step of the way. He's really good at breaking down the scrum and making sure each step you're consistent, so you can paint a better picture to the ref and also to the guys pushing behind you. He's been real good for me. I've been trying to pick his brain pretty much the whole time I've been in camp, so it's been good.
Can you just give us a little bit of your background as well? So half Chilean, and also when did you start playing rugby and like in Melbourne all along?
Yeah, so my mum's Chilean and my dad's Tongan. You probably wouldn't recognise my mum if I was standing right next to her. Would have think I was adopted or something. But yeah, half Chilean, half Tongan. Born and raised in Melbourne. And just started playing in the backyard pretty much, just getting bullied by my older brothers, older cousins, until I hit my growth spurt, and then, tables sort of flipped. I've just been sort of playing club rugby up here in Melbourne, and then, got picked up under 18s. It was my first state team, and then transitioned to the front row about a year or two after.
Isaac, sorry, Tom, you can go. Sorry. All good. Jake, just want to get your thoughts on Noah's game on the weekend and how that combo went.
Pretty pleased with it. I think we had a pretty sort of short run into to the first game, and I think the expectation was that it was never going to be perfect. Rugby's never perfect, but I thought for the majority, we sort of played at the right ends of the field. Our distribution was strong, and I've enjoyed playing with Noah, I thought he was strong.
And further to that, do you think there's value, or do you get the sense from Joe that he'll look to keep a similar starting 15 together? I know you guys haven't had a lot of time together, but can you speak of the value of that, and do you reckon that might be the case heading into this one?
I have no idea. I think one thing with Joe, he doesn't give too much away. Like the first week, he had us picking our own teams at one point. So, I'd love to, play again and play with Noah. But yeah, that's sort of out of my control, and I'm not too sure what he's going to do there.
Do you see the benefit though of stability? Like when you were in that Wallabies side in 22, there was a fair bit of chopping and changing. We know how 23 played out, but what do you get with the benefit of stability?
I think it's always a hard one when you come into an environment like this where you have guys from different teams, and I think you reward guys that have had strong years, and there's an element of getting your work in together at training, and I think the luxury of coming into camp is you spend so much time together. You have no distractions. You're always having either coffees or meeting groups, and you end up connecting quite a lot. So I wouldn't use combinations as an excuse. I think everyone wants to play, and whoever plays will do a good job.
Sorry, Russell, did you have something before, mate? Or Tommy, you good?
No, thanks, Marty. Yeah, Isaac, I just wanted to ram home the local angle from. Knowing this game was on the calendar, was there a period where you eyed it off, or were you ever thinking there was a possibility, or how did that work?
Well, not me personally, but my dad. He's probably my biggest supporter. And I think started Super Rugby season. I was stringing some good games together, and I think the Wallabies schedule came out around the same time, and my dad had this game circled. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna make your debut on your birthday here in Melbourne." I'm lucky it happened a week earlier, but definitely it was very exciting. Having a game here at home and potentially playing in front of my family, it was be quite special.
What did you say to your dad when he circled it on the calendar? Did you tell him he was say, "Yep, I'll get there," or what did you say to him?
Well, it's definitely always a goal to be playing for the Wallabies, but at the start of the year, I think I was just focusing on, getting some good performances for the Rebels, and finishing the year strong here in Melbourne. But yeah, no, I don't think I could have definitely placed myself in this position, probably without his help and his backing. So yeah, I think he believed in me first before I believed in myself.
Should you actually get into the team, as you mentioned before, despite playing last week, you're still not sure, and that'll happen in your new team. How many people are coming if you play?
Man, I'm not even sure myself. I think we'll probably have one stand, just full of my family. So yeah, it'd be good.
And what about club wise? Pump up your club, your junior club.
So Harlequins Junior Rugby Club. They're actually there at the game last week. They had their own little corner. I think it was their under 12s team. But yeah, they've been good to me. They're always posting about me and a couple of the other boys in the team, Bobby and Hunter as well. So they've been good. I'll be sure to get out there when I got some spare time as well.
There's a growing number of born and bred Victorians who have now played for the Wallabies, even recently. Robert Gaota, Jordan Uelasi, those sorts of guys. Do you guys have a sort of a close-knit bond between yourselves?
Yeah, definitely. I think, those boys sort of laid the platform for guys like myself, and hopefully more in the future, coming from Melbourne, not so much being the underdogs anymore, but sort of trying to play with that chip on your shoulder. Guys in Queensland and Sydney, not going to say they got it easier, but it's definitely a lot harder, I think, sort of to try and crack that next level. It'll be interesting in the next couple of years, seeing where that goes. But it's always good, and I always looked up to those boys, and following in their footsteps now is it's good. It's been good.
I might just come to the room, guys, if that's all right. Nat or Gareth, sorry, disconnected.
Just on that, just as actual people visiting here, rugby union in Melbourne, what are the challenges it has with other sports in terms of the dominance of Aussie rules and things like that growing up? How do you find it? Where does the sport lie in the city and the state?
Oh, actually, growing up, I played footy. I played AFL. I was kind of just that big guy to get in there and hit bodies. Couldn't really kick, but I think if you look at the teams here in Melbourne, I think there's maybe eight or nine clubs in general, and then just in my area alone, back in the eastern suburbs, there's probably maybe 12 teams within that little competition in that area. So finding, trying to fight for participation numbers is always tough, but the rugby community here is pretty close knit. I think I've grown up playing against a lot of the same guys all the way through. So you form close bonds like that.
How important is nights like Saturday for Melbourne in terms of being a rugby venue?
It's massively. It's I think any chance you get for a team to represent the country here in Melbourne is quite big. It's it's obviously sporting capital. So hopefully there's a lot of support there on Saturday night. I know people get out in numbers when there's big events on, so it'd be good to see some people out there.
Just one for Jake. You obviously mentioned the conditions, but did Wales sort of bring the sort of game plan you expected from them on Saturday?
I think we knew they were going to kick quite a lot. They have, some pretty handy kickers in that team, and Test match rugby is a little bit different when you've got to play at the right ends. Especially how contested the breakdown is, especially in international rugby. You have guys across the park who can get on ball, and taking three, especially early in the game, gives you a good leap. So. We think Wales are going to be great this week. We're expecting a really good game, obviously really strong up front. So we're excited. But I think Test match rugby kick a little bit more, and the fundamentals of the game around your set piece becomes more important.